Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome to this March 15th edition of Carry Your Cross. And if you're like me, I'm still kind of rubbing my eyes this morning. Of course, yesterday was this daylight saving time, going back into effect. So if you're like me, over the next week or 2 weeks or maybe even a month, our bodies are going to have to get used to the time change all over again. But thank you so much for tuning in today. This past Thursday, you may or may not remember, but it's been all over the news and, of course, in various publications. This past Thursday was the 1-year anniversary of the WHO, the World Health Organization, proclaiming that this COVID was now a worldwide pandemic. And of course, this past year has not been easy. This COVID has affected every single one of us, whether directly or indirectly. Some of us have gotten sick with this. Some have been able to stay away. Some of us have lost loved ones. So this past year has been something that we will never forget, nor will we prayerfully, we will never have to go through this again. But with all of that being said, I was kind of reflecting on something that I saw on the Travel Channel just the other night. There was a couple that went to Switzerland, and they wanted to see the Matterhorn. And they got there, and of course they walked outside of their hotel room, and they saw the Matterhorn, and they took some tours, around the base of the Matterhorn, of course, and made a wonderful day of it. And then the next morning, the gentleman said that he got up, walked outside with his coffee, and the Matterhorn was gone. And that kind of got drew my interest. I was like, what, how could that be? And he said, based upon the clouds coming in, and it was a rainy day, the clouds coming in low, it totally just overwhelmed and overtook the Matterhorn. I mean, he said, I could not see anything of the mountain. And that got me to thinking, really, over this past year, that's kind of where we've been, is it not? We always know that Christ is there. We always know that his authority will never be taken away. His sovereignty is something that is a certainty. I mean, even the author of Hebrews in Hebrews 13:8 says that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The word, the biblical word, is immutability. He never changes. And I was thinking, this gentleman and his wife saw the Matterhorn, and then he walked out the next day, and then it was gone. Now, was the mountain literally gone? Absolutely not. But as the clouds came in and kind of hindered the viewing of the mountain, that's kind of what COVID has done, really, over this last year. And some of us will be affected by this for the remainder of our lives, especially those of us who have lost loved ones throughout this past year. But the author of Hebrews also says something here in chapter 4 that I want to call your attention to, because it speaks to me, and I pray that it will also speak to you this morning. Because even though we are a little over a year out from the pandemic being talked about as being a worldwide pandemic, many of us are still struggling with discouragement, struggling with whether we're going to get out of our homes and try to get back to some normalcy. And I think sometimes we throw up our hands and say, Jesus, you just don't understand. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know where I am emotionally and mentally and spiritually as well as physically. Well, the writer of Hebrews writes this. He says, this is chapter 4, beginning in verse 14. Therefore, since we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast our confession. Let us hold fast to our faith. Let us hold fast to our trust in him. Verse 15, for we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted in all things as we are, yet without sin. Verse 16, therefore let us draw near with confidence to the throne of grace, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. You see, the Matterhorn never left. It was always there. Even though the clouds kind of subdued it and obstructed, the view of it, of its magnificence. In the same way, Jesus Christ is with us. Even though the clouds of discouragement come sometimes, and the clouds of doubt, and the clouds of hurt, the clouds of discouragement, he's always there. He knows exactly how we feel. He knows exactly what we're going through, because he came to this earth upon which we are now living, and he felt every emotion, every pain, every frustration, every discouragement, just as we do. But the writer of Hebrews says, of course, yet without sin. He even tasted death, physical death. Now, of course, we haven't yet, entered into that reality, but Jesus did. So by all means, he understands every single thing that we continue to go through, past, present, and future. And as we look back over this past year, I want to encourage you to think about the positive things. I refer to them as fingerprints of God. Think about his faithfulness to you and your family. Think about his peace that passes all understanding. Think about his mercy and his grace and his presence that has been with you and your family every moment of every day. Sometimes we feel like he's not there, but we understand as believers, even as unbelievers, that Jesus is always there. And he understands what we're going through. He understands where we've been, and he understands where we are now going. So until next time, this is Pastor Lane Collins here at Mount Calvary Baptist Church, just continuing to let you know that I pray for you, I love you dearly, and I look forward to this time every single week. But up until next time, continue to carry your cross, knowing that Jesus understands everything that you've been through, are going through, or will go through, and he loves you most of all. God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Carry Your Cross today. If you would like to view further videos, please follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube. God bless.